Welcome back to Matt's Metal Show, where we're talking about Metallica. Yeah, Metallica. What did I leave off with? I left off with Jason Newsted leaves Metallica. Yes, Jason, around 2001, if you watch the movie Some Kind of Monster, which was basically the making of my favorite album of all time, Saint Anger. Jason Newsted left the band right before they went into start recording at the Presidio in San Francisco. Jason was very honest about it. They talked about it in the movie. He was trying to move outside of Metallica to do other things with his band Echo Brain. And when he approached the mighty James, the mighty Hetfield, about pursuing other interests in music besides Metallica, James told him, no, you're in Metallica. Only do Metallica. He didn't really like that, and so he quit, which is pretty insane for a guy to quit the world's biggest band, basically. And when you look back, following the death of Cliff, and they kind of touched upon it in the movie, Metallica never really stopped moving. Cliff Burton was a huge part of Metallica on the first three albums, and he was an intricate part of the band, obviously, and those guys, they didn't really touch upon it. I'm not sure if it was their management or, I'm sure the business side of it had something to do with it, but instead of taking some time out and basically healing, they moved on. I think in one part of the movie they even said they started auditioning bass players the day after Cliff's funeral. What this brought on for the next however many years, Cliff died in 1986, in September of 86. And then Jason left in 2001, so you're talking 15 years. They basically tormented that guy for more than a decade. They really did. And some of their most successful albums were with Jason Newsted, and it's kind of sad that he was never really a full partner in the band, even though clearly he was pretty important. It was kind of like Lars and Kirk and James versus Jason, and a lot of times they played it off as like being kind of funny and doing pranks and stuff. But when you see the interviews with Hetfield, when he's talking about it, they break the news to them during the filming of Some Kind of Monster, and James and Kirk, you see some realization there where they were like, yeah, we were terrible to that guy. They really were. I think they were still angry that Cliff had left them. I mean, Cliff died in a bus accident, and there was no closure, and they didn't even seek closure. They just, like I said, they just moved forward. And so for a lot of years, that created a lot of hostility in them, and they took it out on Jason. For a guy, like I said, to walk away from the world's biggest band, I mean, that had to be pretty bad. But, in the movie, he says, he was pretty crushed. He looked up to James as a mentor and as a hero, and here's a guy saying, no, man, you can only do Metallica. And even James kind of hit on it later on in the movie that, no, you can't go find pleasure from another source. Metallica is your mistress, and that's it. And you could see that they were regretful. There's a part of the movie where they actually go, Kirk and Lars actually go watch Echo Brain play. at a big fancy club, and Jason bails before they even get backstage to meet him, and then Lars is sitting there with Bob Rock and the empty club after the show, and just going, wow, like Jason did all this, and I can't even get my band to record an album. Because what happened after the death of Cliff was, like I said, they jumped into Jason, they recorded the Garage Days Revisited, and then they went into Master. They went into And Justice for All, and they started gaining momentum. Now, Metallica was already on the rise, but then, like, with Justice, they put out their first MTV video and won. And Justice was a solid album. It was solid, man. It had some great songs on there. Kind of long, kind of jammy, but still amazing lyrics. I mean, Short as Straw and Harvester of Sorrow and one, of course, you know, Blackened. Blackened in the end, winter it was in, so we got see to obscurity, death of Mother Earth, never a rebirth. Not sure I'm ready to sing that right now. One of the things I forgot to mention on the last portion of the Metallica show is I tend to ramble towards the end there. Because I don't script the show, and I probably should. I think I mentioned that like 100 times. You know, I just fly by the seat of my pants. I just say what I got to say. So sometimes I probably should write some stuff down so maybe I could stay on a clear path. But I forgot to mention in 93 they came out with Live Shit, Binge, and Purge. And I remember back in 93, it came in like a little trunk, like a little box. And it was back when it was VHS. But I remember it had 2 live shows on video, which was the And Justice for All show, and that was from Seattle. And then it had the San Diego show from the Black Album. And I believe then it had like 3 CDs in it, which was the Mexico City show. And what was the other thing that was on there? It had the Mexico City show. I think it was just the Mexico City show, right? Yeah, Mexico City show was like 3 discs. Anyways, that was a great little thing with Metallica. It had some little like stickers and shit in there, and a little stencil that you could put the little Metallica guy, and you could spray paint him on the side of your amp or your fucking wall in your room or whatever. I do remember it was pricey, and that kind of held me off. It was like $100 or something. It was expensive because it was a lot of music. It was a lot, you know, it was video and CDs, and it was quite a bit of music. But at the same time, it seemed kind of odd for a band that kind of like was underground, kind of, and then they started becoming huge. To put out something that kind of pricey for their fans. I waited for years, and then finally they slimmed it down to DVDs and CDs, and I think I bought it for like, you know, $20. But great show if you ever want to look at that. That's it's all Jason. It would have been cool if they would have put like a Master of Puppets show on there, but they didn't really record that kind of stuff. You see the Cliff 'Em All. I had the VHS, but I also have the DVD, and you know, that all that stuff was either bootleg or just stuff that was shot for TV. It wasn't, they didn't really professionally record a show because, you know, at the time Cliff was around, they weren't huge yet. You know, they were gaining momentum, but they weren't this huge act. So Live Shit, Binge, and Purge, definitely check that out. Anyways, back to where I was. Jason had left the band. It's 2001, and Metallica gets approached by these 2 movie makers, and they decide they want to do a documentary on the band recording their album, their new album that has no title. They have no bass player, and they're kind of in a state of disarray. Now, in the beginning, they booked themselves into the Presidio down in San Francisco to kind of get away from the studio and just kind of throw together a makeshift studio to just kind of get a different feel for recording an album. They started putting down tracks and stuff. There's a lot of infighting. You could tell these guys. Now you got to remember, these guys had conquered the world by this point. Everybody was like, oh, Metallica. Every time Metallica put something out, everybody was freaking out about it. But it started to wear on the band, and now with Jason gone, and they were starting to kind of reflect on themselves, a lot of things had happened since the old days. They're still probably working on the death of Cliff still, because like I said, those were four guys. They were four guys taking over and conquering the world, and then all of a sudden Cliff was gone, and they were down to three guys. And then they replaced him with Jason, who never really felt like a full member of the band. He didn't feel like one of the brothers, because they were brothers. You know, they went on the road, and you know, they weren't hugely successful, but they were doing a lot of clubs and a lot of, you know, European stuff, and those guys were like the road warriors together. And then all of a sudden Cliff was gone, and then all of a sudden they get Jason, and they explode. You know, Black Album was huge. After that, the ball just was rolling. Whatever Metallica put out was huge. Started playing just everywhere, and never really slowed down. Really, I mean, even though the album started stretching out, they never really stopped touring. Constant touring, constantly doing something. They played Antarctica, for Christ's sakes. I think they did that though with Rob Trujillo, but still they played Antarctica. How crazy is that? So here's these guys. They're back in the studio, and things have changed. Lars has kids now. James has a family. He has kids now. Kirk is off surfing and hanging out at his ranch. Kirk's kind of like that guy that's the anti-rock star. He doesn't want to be a rock star. He loves playing live. He loves being up on stage. And he likes playing with these guys. But at the same time, once he steps away from that, he's very introverted. And he even says it in the movie that, you know, he made his ego even smaller just to like stay away from that kind of stuff. And you see a lot of infighting, like I said. You see these guys arguing and stuff because the album's like, you know, it's going. And then all of a sudden James goes to Siberia for like 2 weeks to go bear hunting. And he comes back and he's got all these pictures. And he said basically like he shot this big bear like on the first day. And then he spent like 2 weeks sitting in like some little hovel, like drinking vodka. And there's one part, and you kind of watching this interview with James, and I don't think he even realized it at the point, but he was talking about he missed his son's first birthday to go do this trip, which was kind of fucked up, you know. I mean, because wow. And then all of a sudden James disappears. Was it because of that trip? Probably. I believe his wife laid it out for him. I believe his wife said, hey man, you missed your son's first birthday to go drink vodka in the middle of Siberia. And that's not cool, man. Now, a lot of people have watched Some Kind of Monster. I remember I watched it in 2004 when it first came out, after I was still digesting that slop that was Saint Anger. And I remember, you know, everybody's first impression of that movie, and I saw a little interview where they did like 10 years later when they talked about that movie. I remember my first impression was like, what a bunch of little bitches, because, you know, like there's a lot of stuff in that movie that you wouldn't expect. It's kind of like peeling back the layers. It's like unveiling what Metallica really was at that point. And a lot of it wasn't glamorous. A lot of it was like they seemed like they were spoiled children. They seemed like children. They hired this guy to come in and be their therapist and to help them work through their feelings and all this stuff. You know, this high-priced, it was like $40,000 a week to have this guy come in and, you know, get them to open up, Because by this point, and James even says it in the movies when he comes back, Metallica had become this beast. Metallica was this rolling juggernaut that had become so huge, and they were so famous now, and they were making so much money, and everybody just loved their stuff, that it started to suck a big piece of him away, and he wasn't that guy anymore. And none of them were. None of them were these 20-year-old angry kids going up on stage with torn jeans and fucking Danzig t-shirts and fucking Sam Hain and Diamond Head and, Motorhead and, all the stuff that these guys listen to. That wasn't the case anymore. Back then it was pure. And now, it had become this huge business, basically, and everybody, the world loved them, and fed their egos, and James, hit it on the head. And the funny thing about the movie, now, I watched it, all these years later, I just watched it the other day, and I have a different kind of perspective than I did when I watched it back in '04, because I noticed a lot of different things. I kind of went into it watching it, kind of eager to watch it again. Even though, like I said, Saint Anger is such a horrible album. But I went and put it on, and the first thing that I noticed is James's discomfort with the camera. And you could see it from the moment they start filming. And James is very, very uncomfortable. Almost kind of afraid of the camera. And it's weird for us as fans because, growing up when I saw Metallica, James, the mighty Hetfield. James is this guy that rolls out on stage with his guitar, and he's just he's praying. He's just he incites a riot. This is, drinking the beer. Yeah, everybody, And now all of a sudden you see this guy who's, he's got glasses on, and he's got short hair, and he's, kind of older. He's all tatted up. And, totally the opposite of what you would normally see from James Hetfield. And Lars is trying to understand where James is coming from. Now, James goes to rehab for a year. He just disappears. And meanwhile, the other two guys, and Bob Rock, because Bob Rock is now playing bass on the album, and Bob Rock had produced them since the Black Album. And Bob came from, he did Motley Crue, like Dr. Feelgood. He did Slippery When Wet, from Bon Jovi. He was a guy that was a producer of albums that were very popular and kind of pop metal, pop rock kind of stuff. And then he made the Black Album with these guys, and then it was huge. And so he continued on as their producer, and he became friends with them and more intricately a part of the thing that was Metallica. And now all of a sudden he's playing bass on the album. And I remember they did a show when it was a playoff game for the Raiders. And they went out and played a couple songs in the parking lot in Oakland. And Bob was playing bass with them. And I remember I had a lot of disdain for that because, dude, when your producer starts playing in your band and stuff, you kind of get that Yoko Ono feel going on. But now watching the movie, I don't know whose fault that was. I don't know if they led him there. There's a part in the movie where James had called Kirk. He was the only one that he reached out to, or that Kirk reached out to him. He didn't talk to any of the other guys. He didn't talk to Lars, and he didn't talk to Bob Rock. But he reached out to Kirk, and then there's this part of the movie where they're sitting in this room, and Kirk is telling him what James said, and he said, he loves us, he's doing good, he's getting better. And then he says, something like, I'm sure Bob and I'm sure they're all waiting for me to come back, like the business side. And Kirk said, yeah, he kind of lumped you in with the business side of the music. And I never noticed this before, but when Kirk says that, you kind of watch it Bob Rock's kind of sitting there in the corner, and you could see that he was visibly hurt by that. And it was kind of fucked up because Here's a guy that had been through a lot with them, since the Black Album was what, 91? 91, and it's 10 years later. It's 2001. 10 years with this guy, and now all of a sudden, like, James is making a comment that, like, oh, hey, Bob's just, he's just a producer. He's record company. That was kind of messed up. So, like I said, Bob was starting to leak into the band, and I don't really know whose fault that was. Meanwhile, these guys are sitting around. They have no idea what's going on. Now, James finally comes back, and he has some ground rules. Because he went to rehab. Because he was a friggin' boozer, I mean, they all had their demons, but, like, James was this guy that just he had a lot of shit that happened to him as a kid, and then he became this huge rock star, and he became a guy that just like, hey, man, I'm going to pound a bunch of booze, and I'm going to bang a bunch of chicks, and woohoo! But then you get married, and then you have kids, and shit changes. That lifestyle's cool when you're, like, 20. It's not cool when you're 45 and you got, like, two, like, adolescent kids that are, like, 7 and 1 or 5 and 1 or whatever the age difference is between them. It's a little different. Your kids are probably the most important thing in your life. And all these assholes out there that think, like, oh, Metallica should have stayed, like, kill them all. Well, people who say that, look at your life and say that. Those are the people that are probably not got a firm grasp on life. I respect them for, doing what they do. Your kids are important, man. Your kids are the most important thing in your life. And you lose them, you got nothing. And James realized he didn't want to lose his family. Metallica could survive, maybe, because at that point in the movie, like, he wasn't even sure if he wanted to come back to Metallica. Now, by this point, James is rich as fuck. He's got a shitload of money. He doesn't have to continue on in Metallica. It's not like, oh shit, if James doesn't make another Metallica album, he's going to be like living in the street in a tent in a park with his family. No. James is rich by this point. Like, really rich. So, he basically said, like, they were living in La La Land. They were living in a fake world, surrounded by fake people, telling them how fucking wonderful they were. And and that's when James kind of admitted what he'd done to Jason. And he said, that was his way of loving things, was to grab it and strangle it to death, because that's what he did. So James comes back, and he's got these rules. And the rules is he can work from noon to 4 every day. And then he's got to go home, man. He's got to go home and eat dinner with his kids. That's part of the stipulations of his recovery and what he was working out with his family. And the guys respected that, like, everybody we all realized, like, without James Hetfield, there is no Metallica, and so I think they understood. You could see there was a little discomfort in there, but then James started to get kind of pissy, because what would happen is he would leave at 4, and they would start to, like, harp on him kind of, because he'd be like, hey, I got a half an hour. And then they would start kind of, like, acting like his curfew wasn't important. And then after that, they would go and listen to stuff without him. And he started to get kind of pissy with that, because, he even told him, like, oh, don't be listening to stuff without me. And Lars got kind of pissed, because he was like, what? So, like, at 4 o'clock, we just stop everything because you're leaving? So there were some hard times going on there, and James even said it. I'm not sure if I can make music with you anymore. That's basically where Metallica had come to, man. They didn't even know what they were doing, man. And you listen to the tracks while they're laying them down. And now the thing about Saint Anger is, and I've always been super critical of Saint Anger, because I remember getting Saint Anger, '04 or '03 or whatever the fuck it came out. I remember getting that and kind of being excited about it, and then putting it in and going, what in the fuck is this? I mean, you thought I was like you thought Ate My Bitch kind of threw me off? When I listened to Load and I saw him with the short hair and the cum and the fucking blood on the album cover, and they were all like licking on each other. You think I was confused then? Saint Anger like blew my fucking mind, and not in a good way. I put on Saint Anger, and first thing that comes out is The drums on Saint Anger sound fucking awful. It was like they purposely tried to sound like shit. It's unbelievable. And then just the whole production on that sounds fucking awful. And then you got James's voice. Now, the reason why it sounds like shit as far as James is singing is because the way they recorded it, if you watch the movie, Bob Rock's sitting here on the little soundboard, and James is standing right next to him just singing into a box, basically, singing into a microphone. He's just like... Now, the other wonderful thing about Saint Anger was because they were so confused, because there was a lot of healing going on, a lot of mixed emotions, and a lot of, like, fright. When you watch James Hetfield and you watch Lars too, Lars just acts like a child. Lars gets pissed off and he starts acting like a kid. Now he starts picking at James because he's upset. Because he's being ousted. Like, these guys used to be like this, and now all of a sudden they're like this. Buttoned heads. You know. I guess like this, you know. Now all of a sudden there's this confusion. You know, it's almost 30 years into the game. And they're like, it's hard to watch in some places because you're right, in the fact that like my first impression was like, what a bunch of pussies. They got this guy sitting there telling them like, oh, you should work through your feelings. Now what they did, if you notice, and we all notice, I noticed, if you listen to the lyrics on Saint Anger, they're very choppy. It's not Master of Puppets, you know. And the reason why is because somebody thought it was a brilliant idea to bring the band closer together, including Bob Rock. And every day they would lay down music, and then they would sit in the studio that they had built. Now, by this time, they had moved to an actual studio because they let the lease on the Presidio expire because James was gone for almost a year. They'd sit in the studio next to each other, and they had these little notepads, and they would sit there and write lyrics down, and then they would play around with it, and then James would just get up and pick up this microphone and just sing the lyrics. That's why, one, the lyrics sounded like shit, and two, that's why the lyrics were shit. Now, you do get a kind of a different perspective on the lyrics, because I did, and I actually went and actually popped in Saint Anger and listened to it again after I watched the movie, because you kind of understand some of the parts where they were actually coming from. But the lyrics are still awful. My lifestyle determines my death style. Really? Or on Saint Anger where he just keeps quoting Damage Incorporated. You're like, okay, it's Damage Incorporated Part 2. Now, the reason why Saint Anger was such a big pile of steaming excrement, because if you want a snapshot of a band in complete chaos, a complete turmoil, there it is. Saint Anger is a picture of a band that has lost its identity and is struggling to keep from strangling itself. And that's really what it was. Now, the odd thing about it is, it took them almost 2 years to put this album together. And there's at one point, like towards the end of the process, where they're sitting at this table and they have Cliff Bernstein, who's Q Prime, is their management company, and they're all sitting there. And Cliff Bernstein's this freaky looking dude, looks like Wavy Gravy. He's got gray hair and this fucked up gray beard. And they're trying to figure out an album title. And James says he likes Saint Anger. And, all the little yes men over in the corner are going, yeah, let's celebrate Saint Anger Day, And meanwhile, Lars goes, well, I like Frantic. Because that was the name of the song, Frantic. And Cliff Bernstein's like, oh no, because that sounds like a band that's like struggling to like find, what they're looking for and stuff. And I think Lars was dead on. That album should have been called Frantic. That album should have been called Schizophrenia, because that's what it was. Or Torture. That album is torture. It's torture to listen to, and it's torture for what they went through. And Saint Anger sounds like fucking garbage. I don't know one fucking person in my life that has ever told me, like, dude, I really like Saint Anger. I've never met that person. I don't want to meet that person, because Saint Anger is fucking garbage. They spent millions of dollars to make this fucking album that sounds like it was recorded in the backseat of a fucking 1963 VW Bug that was lit on fire and shot up with fucking, bullet holes, and had rust fucking, and wind coming in the fucking doors, and it smelled like, it smelled. That's how shitty Saint Anger was. Is actually, like, if you pick it up, you can smell how bad it is. Fucking awful. Oh yeah. Ugh. I can remember the day that this album came out. I remember, because it came with the CD, and then it came with a DVD with like every song from the album. Like, they recorded it live. It had this, some of Pushead's like lamest drawings. Like. But I remember I was kind of excited when this came out. And I remember I bought it like the day it came out. And I was like, oh, dude, I raced home and I was like, yes. And I put it on. And unlike Load, now Load, when I put Load on, because I always kind of look at Load as that album that kind of I tripped up on. Unlike Load I was just like, it ain't my bitch. I was like, can we get to the real music on here? And then I got the fucking Ronnie. Saint Anger was like listening to, however, I think this is like 70 minutes or some shit. I don't even know how long this fucking album is, but it was like listening to 70 minutes of fucking Ronnie. That's how fucking awesome. No, Ronnie doesn't even describe it. It was like this. I remember listening to it and going, what the fuck is this? First of all, the drum sound, like, okay, now in the movie, they're playing back some of the tracks, and at one point, Lars him and his dad are hanging out at some property that Lars bought, like in Frisco, like up on the hill, and like, scrub brush and shit, and they're talking and stuff. And you can tell that Lars is very uncomfortable around his dad. He has issues with his dad, don't we all? And then later on, and his dad's name is like Torben or something. And he used to be like a tennis pro in like Denmark, and he has this big long, scary wizard beard. He looks like a scary wizard. But he's funny because Lars takes him to the studio and they pop on the tracks and starts listening to it, and Lars is sitting there like rocking out to it. Now, me or you or whoever, I'm listening to it going, wow, fuck, that sounds awful. And then Lars's dad says the same fucking thing, dude. They're all rocking out to it. And his dad's like, that sounds like shit. And then Lars gets all butthurt and everything. When you listen to this album and you see them listening to it in the movie, like listening to different tracks, they even bring some fans in at one point to listen to some of the tracks. You could see the look on the fans' faces that they brought in to like critique the album. Some of them are just excited because they're there. Holy shit, I'm here with Metallica and I'm listening to their new album. And some of them are, tapping their foot and stuff. But a lot of them, man, even though they're like smiling and like kind of trying to rock out, you could see the fucking look on their face where like inside their head they're going, what the fuck is going on? Am I like in some alternate fucking universe? Is anybody else hearing this fucking garbage that's coming out of these speakers? I did. First time I put this album on, I listened to it, like, I didn't even listen to the whole thing. I remember I listened to probably 5 songs, and by the 5th song, which was, let me look here, 5th song was Invisible Kid. Now, Invisible Kid is probably the one part on this whole album which I can almost stomach Invisible Kid, because it's a good song. It's, it's angry. It's about, abuse or, abandonment issues. But it still sounds like shit because Lars' drum is like tink, tink, tink. It sounds like he's playing a fucking soup can. Like he's hanging out with Andy Warhol playing a fucking Campbell soup can with a fucking ballpoint pen. Worst fucking drum sound I've ever heard in my fucking life. And the guitars, they just sound like they went out and bought like a fucking $10 amp, and then the James is just screaming into an empty room the lyrics. That's how it sounds. This album, when you listen to it, you're just like utterly amazed. Now, these guys in the movie they're listening to, and they're like acting like this is fucking Master of Puppets, dude. And I think part of it is the reason is they spent like 700 something days making this pile of shit. And as an artist, because I know as a writer, if you spend any length of time on the same subject and you keep going over, like if I write a short story, if I'm working on my novel and I'm into it, but I'm like in constant rewrite, and you start to lose focus. You start to get blinders on. And then that happens to musicians as well. If you're working on the same, how many songs are on here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs. 11 songs is 700 days. 700 and change, almost 2 years. 700 days on 11 songs. You work on 11. Now, I know they had more songs and they actually cut it down. I can't even fucking imagine what the other fucking garbage was that didn't make this fucking album. But you get blinders on. And plus, you got all these people going, oh, dude, it sounds great. There's at one point where they have, like, Cliff Bernstein. Now, he's their fucking manager. And I'm sure they've made him very fucking rich. And I'm sure they're cool with him. But at the same time, this guy's fucking been leeching off Metallica for how many years? He didn't create Metallica. He's just their fucking manager. But this guy's sitting on the couch in the studio and he's like acting like he's fucking rocking out. Now, no offense, Mr. Bernstein, but looking at you probably never listened to anything cool in your life. You look like you were counting money while you're fucking listening. You're like, I wonder how many albums we're going to sell. You're like, anybody, I wish they would have called me. Because I'm a fucking fan. I wish they would have called me. Because like Lars' dad, I would have walked into that studio, listened to one fucking song and said, are you guys out of your fucking minds? Really, I would have turned into Jack Nicholson from The Shining. You out of your fucking minds? But, the yes men, Mr. Bernstein, their manager, he's like, oh, yeah, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Fuck you. That right there, when I watch that part of the movie and I see that asshole saying how fucking wonderful this shit is, dude, you're an outside observer. An outside observer should have been like, fucking put the brakes on. Hello, warning bells are fucking ringing here. An outside observer who had nothing to lose should have said, dude, what the fuck is this? Pusshead should have been like, dude. Oh my god. But anyways, enough about Saint Anger. They messed with the formula. They let the other guys write the lyrics. They try to include everybody. Now, the only cool thing about Some Kind of Monster, and the reason why they called it Some Kind of Monster, because that is what Metallica had become, some kind of monster. And these guys had to learn how to make music, how to get along with each other, but still have rules and try and lead normal lives. The rock star life had been thrown out the window because the rock star life is not real. Look at the guys like David Lee Roth and Steven Tyler. Look at the 60-something-year-old rock stars. You know, it was cool when you were a kid. It was cool when you were 20, like I said. You know, when I was 20 years old, dude, there was nothing cooler than fucking looking at David Lee Roth and being like, dude, he's so fucking cool. When you're 40-something, you got kids, it's actually kind of fucking sad. And when you see these guys, because I see these guys up close and personal, and you see the cracks in the fucking makeup, man, and you see the fucking pain, and you see the fucking directionlessness that these guys fucking face. Banging a new chick every day, great. It's fucking great. Go hang out with Gene Simmons. Fuck yeah. Fucking douchebag. You know? But number one, you know, your family's got to be important to you, and then everything else. And that's what they had to discover. So the only good thing that really came about from this whole St. Anger thing. Now, the funny thing is they end the movie with, like, you know, them going out on tour, and you see these people in the front row, like, singing frantic, like it's fucking bell tolls. That's a true fucking Metallica fan. You fucking get spoon-fed this fucking garbage, and then you're fucking embracing it like it's fucking the gospel. Wow. But, you know, their fan base is mixed with a lot of diverse people, and you got people that actually like listen to their music and appreciate the good and try and puke up the bad, and then you got the fucking blindness. I don't even know what that is. You got the blind fucking sheeps that just Metallica. Rah! You always see that one guy. He's always leaning on the wall, and he's all tatted up, and he's still got like burn marks where the handcuff marks were because he just got out of jail like 6 minutes ago, and he's like, Metallica. And then he runs into the wall, or a bouncer punches him in the face because he's an idiot. Yeah, them too. So that was the dirty kids in high school that grew up. They got a big, you know, big tattoo across their neck, and they're like, yeah, Metallica! I love St. Anger! Anyways, the only good thing that came from this is they got nominated for like the MTV Icon Award, and they decided, whoa, shit, we kind of need a bass player. Because, you know, like Bob Rock was not going to be their bass player. First of all, he's not interesting enough. You know, Bob Rock's just kind of, you know. So they went on the hunt. And it was interesting to see. Here's the biggest band in the land, and they're looking for a bass player. And there's one point where they actually were like, I think Jason wants to get back in the band, and they were like, we've moved on. So they held auditions, and you know, there were a lot of people showed up. I think Les Claypool from Primus showed up. Some guy from Corrosion of Conformity. Was it Twiggy from Manson showed up? There was a lot of different people that showed up. But then Rob Trujillo showed up. Now, according to Rob, years later, when they were doing that after, like 10 years after the Some Kind of Monster, he even said, like, he's wearing this like burgundy shirt. It's actually Lars' shirt, because him and Lars actually met, and then they went out and like drank all night, and then he came in to do like this, like, you know, tryout for them, and so he's wearing Lars' shirt because he didn't want to be wearing the same clothes he was wearing when he showed up. So that's the funny part of the movie, because they're all kind of sitting in the studio, and Rob's out. He had to pick a bass because they have all these instruments and shit, because these guys collect guitars like they're water. This guy was like, oh yeah, they have like 600 guitars. Must be nice, right? But Jason had taken all his basses with him, so there was some basses. So he went and he picked a bass, and he's standing out in the studio, you know, kind of getting ready. And these guys are in the room, And they're kind of freaking the fuck out because what if this is the guy? They haven't picked a new bass player in like 14 years. And now they got to go and, and this is actually like, to them it was like the actual replacement of Cliff because they had never dealt with, Cliff's death properly. So now this was reality. So they actually, and then finally, Bob Rock's like, dude, why don't you just stop jerking this guy around and like go out there and play with him. And I remember the coolest thing about that part of the movie is they went out and Rob's like kind of, what do you guys want to play? And they're like, well, what do you want to play? And he goes, well, I could do Battery. You want to do Battery? And they play Battery. And I remember, like, you kind of see the look, you kind of see the light go on in, like, Hetfield's eye and Kirk, and they're all just kind of looking at this guy because Rob's a good player, And, Jason, and Jason even admitted it, like on And Justice for All, Jason plays with a pick. He was basically playing, like, guitar parts on his bass. He was just basically, like, following what James was doing. He wasn't this intricate bass player, but you got Rob Trujillo, who played with Ozzy and he played with Suicidal Tendencies. And Rob Trujillo is like, first of all, he uses his fingers, and he's a phenomenal guitar player or bass player. And not only that, but he's very animated. You ever watch Rob Trujillo play? It's like, holy shit, he looks like a fucking caveman up there. He's like doing all this crazy shit. But they play Battery with him, and they're just like, oh my god. And then they go through some more songs and shit, and they found their bass player. And James said it best when they were talking to him. They offered him like $1 million to join their band, and then they said they'd work out the details. James said, dude, we play better with you playing with us. Like, the other people that tried out looked like they were kind of struggling. You see these guys up there trying to play Cliff Burton with a pick. You see Cliff Burton play, we watch the video from Day on the Green where he's playing For Whom the Bell Tolls. Cliff had a distinct style and he was a great bass player. Rob Trujillo nailed it. And they're better off. They're better off. Rob Trujillo kind of led a legitimacy. Unfortunately for Rob Trujillo, he started in the Saint Anger days, and he had to go tour the world with Saint Anger under his belt, which is kind of unfortunate. But there's a video of them, like, where they filmed a video for Saint Anger at, like, San Quentin. The bunch of fucking criminals, I don't know whose idea that was. You got to see there in the movie, like, James is talking to the criminals, and here's James, he's a recovered alcoholic, and he's like this huge rock star, and he's trying to talk to these fucking lifers in fucking San Quentin, bunch of fucking all tatted on their face, a bunch of fucking douchebags. I'm sorry, and he makes a comment like, I could have ended up in here or dead, and it's like, I'm not, trying to preach to you guys, but it's like, dude, they're in prison for a fucking reason. Don't fucking pander to the fucking douchebags, even though, like, probably, 60% of your fans are fucking douchebags anyways. But, it was kind of strange to watch. And I remember they said, like, there were signs up that said, that they would shoot, like, if a prisoner tried to make a break for it, they'd just shoot you at San Quentin. They don't fuck around. So, I just thought that was a weird move, man. I'm going to be honest with you, like, first of all, it's a shitty album, and then on top of that, to go into a fucking prison. Now, this isn't Johnny Cash playing Folsom Prison back in the fucking 50s, where it was kind of cool. This is Metallica playing in San Quentin with a bunch of fucking scumballs. These people are fucking slime. Most of them, they don't listen to Metallica, but they're all, like, rocking out. They're all fucking sitting there smoking cigarettes and fucking looking all crazy and shit. And it's like, Is that the image that your management decided that they wanted to portray? Was Metallica plays for fucking inmates in fucking San Quentin? Whoop-de fucking do. Well, you know what? The guys in San Quentin, dude, they could have every copy of this fucking album. They could fucking burn it out in the yard, maybe, to fucking keep them warm at night. They fucking San Quentin can have this fucking pile of shit. Anyways, let's move on. Hey, one other thing I wanted to talk about, some kind of monster was there was one part though where the guy Phil, like he while James was away and they were filling the void, this guy told Lars that maybe it would be a healing experience to get Dave Mustaine in the room and sit down and talk about what had transpired. And so they did. They go get Dave Mustaine, and he comes into the room, and he sits there and talks to Lars. Now, Lars kind of bottles himself up really quickly, I noticed. When he gets uncomfortable, he starts speaking like a robot. And there's a point where, Dave was trying to be real, but at the same time, I know Dave was working through some shit, too, because, Metallica has always kind of hovered over him. Like that hand over Paul McCartney's head on the cover of Sgt. Pepper's, like the hand of doom. He's always worn Metallica around his neck like a dead albatross. Just throwing out some Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Little Samuel Taylor Coleridge for those Iron Maiden fans out there. Seriously though, he has like a penance, like a fucking stone around his neck. Now he says, dude, you guys kicked me out of the band. I got to watch you guys. Basically, everything you touched turned to gold, while everything I touched turned to shit. And Lars says, dude, I'm kind of sad that you think that, everything you've done is kind of a failure compared to us. And I agree with Lars, because Megadeth, I thought Dave Mustaine, dude, first of all, Dave Mustaine still got money. It's not like he's fucking living in the street, okay? Dave Mustaine's got I've seen pictures of his house in Fallbrook. It's really fucking nice. And now he lives in Nashville. I'm sure he doesn't live in a fucking 2-bedroom condo. He drives an Aston Martin, for Christ's sakes. But he kind of felt that way, like I missed the boat. Like I got basically kicked out of the fucking Beatles of the 20th century, or the 21st century, fuck, dude. He got kicked out of the biggest band in the land, and he did. And it was unfortunate. And he even says, dude, I wish you guys would have told me to go to rehab. Dude, it was 1983, man. You were like fucking, 20 fucking years old? Who the fuck's going to send you to rehab? Those guys, the problem with Dave Mustaine when he was in Metallica, when he was recording, or right before, when they went to New York to record Kill 'Em All, he was a mean, nasty fucking drunk, dude. He was a fucking asshole. And, they were tired of him, dude. They were cooped up in some shitty, fucking VW Bug or VW van that they drove across country just to get to fucking New York so they could record this album. And, he's a fucking boozer, and he got under their skin. And the thing is they were all boozers, but he was a mean boozer. He was a mean drunk. And, you can't take that back. What happened, happened. And, and Dave Mustaine should get over that shit. Now, apparently the world at large doesn't want Dave Mustaine to get over that shit because, just last week or 2 weeks ago on the Grammys, Megadeth finally wins a fucking Grammy and the house band breaks into fucking Master of Puppets. I'll talk about that on my next show. Anyways, Dave was just like, man, you guys made everybody hate me and stuff. I think Dave was whining. I get it, man. I get Dave. Dave's upset because he wasn't in Metallica. But at the same time, Dave Mustaine has made some fucking brilliant albums. He has, and he never made, I'll say it for the millionth time, Dave, you never made this fucking pile of shit. So you're one up on Metallica. I mean, yeah, they've sold 110 million copies. So fucking what, dude? You still have respect for yourself. And Megadeth has never come out. Even Super Collider, which I didn't really like, was never fucking awful. This was fucking awful. So cheer up, Dave. So in 2008, Metallica comes out with an album called Death Magnetic. And they had like a, you know, they had like a coffin with like, you know, a bunch of little iron shavings being like, you know, like it's a magnet. And it actually had this logo on it. For the first time in how long? When was the last time this was on a fucking Metallica album? What, the Black Album was the last time the fucking actual Metallica logo was on it? I remember getting Death Magnetic. I think I downloaded it. I don't think I actually bought it. I think I just downloaded it. Because I was still reeling from Saint Anger. It'd been like 4 years from Saint Anger. Saint Anger came out in 04, 03, 04. It's been like 4 or 5 years. I can't tell you that I was like super excited. Oh my god, because, you know, obviously Saint Anger left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was like, what's next? You know, like, I talked about it before, like, we didn't anticipate albums like we did when we were kids. Now we kind of anticipate, like, God, I hope it's not fucking awful because of shit like this, because of shit like fucking Saint Anger, where you kind of get gun shy and you go, whoa, should I'm afraid to listen to what the fuck they're coming out with. Now, a couple of good things about Death Magnetic and a couple of bad things about Death Magnetic. They went and got Rick Rubin to produce the album. Of course, Rick Rubin did a lot of shit with like Chili Peppers and, you know, various other. He used to do like rap and shit, you know. He used to hang out with like the Beastie Boys and shit, didn't he? Anyways, Rick Rubin looks like a fucking homeless man. But anyways, they go out and get Rick Rubin because I guess they severed all ties with Bob Rock. I guess they finally like one day popped on Saint Anger and just went. Remember that face my mom made when I asked her if she'd buy me Kiss Alive 2? That had to be the look on Hetfield's face when he finally, like, was clear enough. A moment of clarity with Saint Anger on the CD player. So they go get Rick Rubin, which the thing with Metallica is like, don't go and get some big name producer to produce your shit. Get somebody that's actually going to make your album sound good. Rick Rubin's, you know, whatever. And the production sounds like shit. Bottom line. Now, it sounds a lot better than Saint Anger, but that's not saying much. I mean, anything sounds better than Saint Anger. Getting my fucking teeth drilled out with a fucking, you know, jackhammer would sound better than fucking Death Magnetic. I'm sorry, Saint Anger. But it's still, you know, it was like, like, it was like, you know, when your girlfriend, like, you're going, I don't know if I should say this, but, you know, it's like going with your girlfriend and then all of a sudden she goes, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. That's what a letdown like Death Magnetic was. Fucking awful. No, it wasn't that big of a letdown, but what I'm saying is it could have sounded a lot better. Now, I don't know what the fuck Rick Rubin was doing, but apparently he was working on this super fucking digital fucking compression of the music and the way it was mixed. It came out sounding like shit. That's what I've heard. That's what I've read in the reviews, is that they were trying some fucking different technique to compress the music when they were mastering it, and it fucking squeezed the life out of it. So now it wasn't Saint Anger, but at the same time, it was like a step in the right direction because one, you could tell fucking Hetfield's writing the fucking lyrics again. I like I said, I wasn't anticipating this album. I was fucking terrified of this album because I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. I did not. I just, Death Magnetic came out. I think I waited a couple of days. I waited for some of my buddies to like say anything. No one was saying anything, so I think I finally went on iTunes and just, fuck it, I'm gonna buy it. I think I had heard like the single, which was what, This Was Just Your Life, and I wasn't really excited about that song. It sounded kind of like preemptive, like is it building to something, or is there more to this, because the lyrics weren't that awesome. So I downloaded the album and I said, okay, I took a deep breath and I pushed play and I listened to the album. And like I said, the production on it, I mean, Lars' drums sound better, but they still sound like shit. I listened through, I started kind of picking up. Now, they do Unforgiven 3 on this album. Wasn't really sitting around waiting for part 3 to Unforgiven. That kind of detracted me a little bit because I was like, wasn't really digging Unforgiven 2. I'm sorry. I think Unforgiven should have just stayed Unforgiven. And then I ran across, there's the End of the Line, which was alright. And then there was Broken Beat and Scarred. I heard that song and a little light went on in my eye. And I think I actually like shed a tear. Because Broken Beat and Scarred was fucking cool, man. I was like, oh, dude, good lyrics. Broken Beat and Scarred. I can't even remember the lyrics right now to Broken Beat and Scarred. But what don't kill ya makes you more strong. Rise, fall again. Something like that. Anyways, man, I heard Broken Beat and Scarred and like, there was a little bit of hope restored in my soul. Good lyrics, and I was like, ooh, this is good. Then the next song was The Day That Never Comes, and that to me kind of reminded me of That Was Just Your Life and The End of the Line. It was kind of like, eh. And then once again, man, I got All Nightmare Long. That song was fucking badass, but like when I was listening to it, I was still kind of fighting through the really shitty production on the album. Because, like, dude, the guitars are, like, way down here. Everything is, like, way down here. You got a lot of fucking Lars cymbals and shit and snare, but, like, the rest of his drums are just gone. And then, like, the guitars, like, I mean, they're playing some cool shit, but it's like, fucking down here, man. It's not... When you listen to Master of Puppets, it's a good mix, and, like, it's all even. The vocals and the fucking guitars are, like... But, I don't know, this album is just like, ugh. But All Nightmare Long was fucking killer, fucking awesome. I love that song. Cyanide, Cyanide was cool. It's a cool fucking rockin' song. It's not like, it's kind of like Harvester's Sorrow. It's just that one song. It's like, it's not my favorite fucking song, but it's by no means bad. And then, of course, you got Unforgiven 3. Because 1 and 2 left so many unanswered questions. The Judas Kiss. Now, the weird thing about Death Magnetic was probably because Rob Trujillo's in the band, and this was the first album where he actually recorded with these guys, and he's a musician. You kind of went back to Justice and Justice for All, because all these songs are like 7 and 8 minutes long. There's a 10-minute long song on here. And it kind of fell within that. You kind of hear justice a little bit in this album. James has some good lyrics, but he also has some songs. The Judas Kiss. If the Judas Kiss is your favorite Metallica song of all time, well then The Conjuring is, got to be your favorite Megadeth song of all time. Or Poison Was the Cure. Yeah. And then you had like the 10-minute, Judas Kiss was like 8 minutes long, and then you had Suicide and Redemption, it's like 10 minutes long. It's like an instrumental, it's like 10 minutes long, Suicide and Redemption. And then, of course, Metallica, because they have to, they end with like a thrasher, and, they ended with My Apocalypse, which was a pretty cool song. Would have liked a little bit more production on James's voice, because it does sound like shit. Like I said, man, they should have went to Rick Rubin's house, pulled him outside, and just beat him to death with a fucking salami, fucking 12-inch salami. Beat him to death with it. Now, don't go and beat fucking Rick Rubin to death with a fucking salami. I'm not advocating violence, but what I'm saying is this album could have been like their kind of, I'm not going to say their comeback because Metallica's popularity has never waned, but I'm saying this could have been the redemption album that just fucking totally erased, Saint Anger. And it wasn't. I mean, it was a great step in the right direction, but at the same time, like, God, the fucking production, it's like, you're making the new Metallica album and you fuck it up? How the fuck does that happen? Good God. I mean, dude. Unbelievable. But, like I said, Death Magnetic was a step in the right direction. You could definitely feel that the band was kind of back in that fucking flavor, that Metallica flavor. I felt like, well, this is a good sign. I don't remember loving Death Magnetic like I had loved Master of Puppets or even Justice or fucking Ride the Lightning. I don't remember that kind of love for it. I remember, listening to it here and there, but I don't remember like immersing myself into it like it was fucking the gospel according to the mighty Hetfield. But I did feel some rays of hope because you definitely could tell that the formula had been put back into place. Because you could definitely tell that Mr. Hetfield was writing the lyrics again instead of Bob Rock and Kirk and Lars. My lifestyle determines my death style. There's none of that on the fucking album. Thank God. And now here we are. Now the funny thing about like my Metallica show, and I just posted it on YouTube like 5 days ago. I recorded that back in November when Hardwired to Self-Destruct came out. Now, the cool thing about Amazon was when Hardwired came out was you got the download. I'm fucking with shit on the side here. You got the download like for free, and then a couple days later in the mail, you actually got the fucking CD set. Look at this shit, by the way. It's fucking disturbing. Ooh, Metallica. So, last year, now it's last year, it's fucking 3 months, 4 months later. I'm sorry, I don't get a lot of time to, it takes a bit of time to edit this shit and put in all the little comments that you see here and shit. And also, it just, I gotta find the time to sit down and be on the computer for that long. But, what we did back in November of last year, we got Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Now, like with Death Magnetic, I can't remember how I found out that this was coming out. I think it's, I saw it on Amazon because I was perusing, getting some music and stuff, and I was like, oh shit! No, you know what it was? My friend Matt Zane, the Metal God. Just hanging out with Matt the other day. He's down from Philly. I'll post a picture of him. Something funny because he'll appreciate that. Matt had posted the first single, the video on Facebook, and that's how I realized. Now that I think about it, and I remember I watched that or I listened to it or whatever the fuck. It was a link. I think it was on fucking YouTube or something, and I fucking hated it. It was fucking Hardwired, the song Hardwired. Now, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, I got the album because it was cheap. It was like $10. And it's like there's like 3 discs. You know, it comes with the 2, you know, Hardwired is like a double album. You can see this shit. Hardwired's a double album, and then they added like a whole nother fucking disc on it, which is pretty fucking cool because there's a live show that they did on record store day down at Rasputin Records, like down in fucking Frisco. That's fucking cool. These guys, they're fucking Metallica, and they just show up at a fucking record store down in fucking like Oakland or something and just fucking play out in the parking lot and jam like 10 songs. How fucking cool is that shit, you know? Hey, who are these guys? I don't know. Oh, it's Metallica. They're just fucking setting up in the parking lot because they're gonna fucking jam like 10 fucking songs because it's fucking record store day. Which is cool, man, because, dude, we miss record stores. And I was talking to some of my buddies and stuff, and, you know, we miss Tower Records. When I was a kid, Tower Records was fucking amazing. I met so many fucking rock stars at Tower Records, man, because they would come to San Diego, and there was 3 Tower Records in San Diego. There was one by the sports arena, there was one on El Cajon Boulevard, and then there was one down here in El Cajon, just not too far from where I live. And, fuck, I met Ozzy and fucking Dio, and fucking, I remember I met Loudness and Wasp and fucking Queensryche, Iron Maiden, fucking, like, dude, fucking amazing. We missed that shit. But anyways, so I remember I listened to Hardwired and now I had a little bit less trepidation because, you know, Death Magnetic wasn't fucking Saint Anger, so, but I was still kind of like, oh god, I hope the fucking production on this album is better. And it was. Thank God. But I remember my first taste of this, just like my first taste of Load. I didn't taste Load. Jesus fucking Christ. Ah! No. Load was It Ain't My Bitch. And Hardwired to Self-Destruct is We're So Fucked! Shit out of luck! Hardwired to Self-Destruct! We're so fucked. Shit out of luck. Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I can tell you when, because, you know, I downloaded that song because I thought, oh, well, maybe I didn't understand. Maybe I was fucked up in the head. I don't know. And I remember I downloaded the song and you could pre-buy the album and you got the first single. And then like 2 weeks later, the album came out and then it automatically downloaded it. I thought that was pretty cool. Remember listening to that song and going, dude, wow, fucking really, dude? It's been 2008 and it came out in 2000. It's been 8 fucking years. I think James just texted me. Hold on a second. Yeah, hold on. Tell James that Hardwired is fucking stupid. It was fucking stupid. And I was a little disappointed because I was like, dude, are we back to this shit? Like, are we fucking 10 again? Really? That's your lyrics? We're so fucked, shit out of luck, Hardwired to Self-Destruct? Like, that's the best that you could do? Wow. So I was a little leery because I was like, fuck, I already, like, kind of bought the album. Because, aside from that, it did sound pretty good. Lars actually has a fucking drum sound that doesn't make me want to fucking shoot myself. But, wasn't fucking feeling excited about Hardwired. I thought the lyrics were fucking stupid. I'm sorry. You know, so I get like a fucking accent when I say it's fucking stupid. Because that's how stupid it was. It makes me regress to like I'm fucking from New York or something. I'm like, what the fuck was that? It's fucking stupid. So I got the album, the download first, and then a couple days later the fucking album. Now I guess Amazon like super fucked up, and I guess like on launch day for the album, um, you know, because when you pre-order an album on Amazon, you're supposed to get it like at your fucking house, like the day it comes out. That's like the stipulation. Well, I guess somebody at Amazon fucked up, and like none of these went out until like I got it like 4 days after the album came out. Now, who gives a shit? So what's wrong with America? They were like me now. I gotta have it right fucking now. No, you don't. It's like fucking getting a video game the day it fucking launches. Who fucking cares? In a fucking week, you're not gonna give a shit about it anyway. So I don't know who created that shit, you know, but like where people camp out in front of stores to get a fucking PS4 and shit because you fucking have to have it, and then you take it home and it shorts out and burns your fucking house down because you shouldn't buy shit when it first comes out because they haven't worked out all the bullshit. Same with an album. It's like, who fucking care, dude? I had the fucking download. I already had the album. Like what? Because I have the physical copy in my hand. I mean, I survived. So did you. So who gives a shit? But anyways, I remember I took a breath and I popped on Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Well, I trudged through Hardwired and still, you know, I mean, like musically it was cool. Like it sounded a lot better than, like I said, Death Magnetic, but at the same time, the fucking lyrics just blow it for me. It was very juvenile. It sounded, I don't know, it's like they're pandering to their idiot fans. Like, oh, here you go. But, you know, the fucking dumbasses will love this song because they're like, dude, fuck yeah. And then it kind of goes into one of my favorite songs on the album. It goes into Atlas Rise. Atlas Rise! I'll tell you, man, like, I listened to the album a couple times. Well, since the first show, I've listened to the album like a bunch of times. But it's pretty cool. It's not Master of Puppets. You know, but at the same time, it's not fucking St. Anger, so it's kind of somewhere in the middle of that. There's some good songs on there. Like I said, Atlas Rise, I like that. I like Now That We're Dead. That's a cool song. Moth into Flame, that's a cool song about like freaking the realities of being famous. And just to cover this real quick, and I'll go into it more on another show, but Metallica just played the Grammys not too long ago, and they played Moth into Flame with Lady Gaga. And the Gog was up there. She had her Metallica shirt on, and she was like, you know, and James's Hetfield, James's microphone didn't work for like the first like 2 sets of lyrics, and then he finally had to walk over to Gaga and like share the microphone with her. On the biggest stage there is, I guess the Grammy. And then the only other bigger stage than that would be the Super Bowl, which still haven't figured out why they haven't asked Metallica to do the Super Bowl, for Christ's sakes. I'm afraid James is going to say fuck. He probably would too. Because I don't care. The sound guy, he unplugged James's microphone. Good job. That guy's fired! But it was pretty cool. He had all this fire and shit. Gaga's rolling around with a fucking Metallica shirt on. She rubs up, you know, and jumps into Lars' lap while he's trying to play and shit. And it was pretty cool, man. Now, some people did not find that cool, and I know Eddie Trunk was a little upset by that. I heard his show the other day, and he was just ranting about, he was ranting about how, they played Master of Puppets when Mustaine won the Metal Album Award for Dystopia, which is fucked up. Don't get me wrong, it's fucked up and unforgivable. But I guess the chick, I didn't really see the intro, but I think it was the transgendered chick from Orange is the New Black, introduced them, and she only introduced Lady Gaga. They're singing a fucking Metallica song. Metallica is singing a fucking Metallica song with Lady Gaga added into the mix, and this whatever introduces just Lady Gaga. And then, of course, James' microphone doesn't work, so. But anyways, I know Eddie Trunk was, pissed because he was like, it's 4 minutes. Can't these guys just do their stuff and not have this pop element added into the mix? Now, Eddie can get excited and pissed off because he thinks they tainted metal by having to inject Lady Gaga into it to make it legitimate. I read the interview with Lady Gaga, and it was her and Lars met at Bradley Cooper's house, and they were hanging out, and they're the ones that came up with this. So it wasn't this big fucking conspiracy theory where the gods of the Grammys are fucking holding Metallica down. First of all, Eddie, and I like Eddie Trunk, but first of all, you act like, Metallica is being so hurt. The poor victims that are Metallica. Dude, Metallica is the biggest fucking band in the land, dude. They're going on a fucking stadium tour of America, They're not, fucking victims here. And second of all, before you, start ranting on shit, why don't you find out the facts, man? Dude, it was a collaborative effect. James Hetfield is not going to do fucking anything unless he signs off on it. If the people at the Grammy said, well, you can play, but you have to have Lady Gaga, and James wasn't cool with that, James would have been like, hey, fuck you. It's fucking James Hetfield, dude. Fuck you. He's fucking James Hetfield. You think he needs the fucking Grammys to legitimize anything? It's the fucking Grammys. Who gives a shit? I didn't fucking watch it. I don't give a fuck about the Grammys. Anybody that does, then fucking go watch the Grammys. But I don't watch the fucking Grammys because 90% of that is fucking bullshit anyways. You're, telling me what's good music? I can figure that shit out on my own, so I really don't need the fucking Grammys to legitimize anything. So, the fact that they waited fucking all this time to award fucking Dystopia fucking Grammy, well, what are you gonna do, not saying Dystopia was a bad album. I actually like Dystopia, but I'm just saying, there's been numerous times where Megadeth has stepped way far beyond Dystopia and could have been recognized, and they wait till, it's kind of like giving Clint Eastwood the Oscar for Unforgiven, or fucking, Al Pacino the Oscar for fucking Scent of a Woman. Not Dog Day Afternoon, not Godfather 1, not Godfather 2. We're going to wait till he does Scent of a Woman, and then we're going to give him a fucking Oscar for that. Woo-ah! If I was half the man I was 20 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place. I'm not saying Son of a Woman was a bad movie, but I'm saying clearly it's not his best effort. And the same with Megadeth and Dystopia. It's clearly not their best effort. If you're going to rate the Megadeth albums, see, even I said Metallica. Oops. But if you're going to rate the Megadeth albums, is Dystopia at the top of your fucking list? I was going to put Countdown, but I think Dystopia is the best Megadeth album. It's Dystopia and then Rust in Peace. And then, anyways, I digress. But yeah, it's kind of fucked up that I watched the footage. I heard about it, and then I kind of popped it on, and they actually have the footage because it was being streamed. So there's actual footage where James is actually singing. You can actually hear him singing. But on the live feed, you couldn't hear James, and he couldn't hear himself, and you could see his frustration at the end of the song because he takes his fucking guitar and hucks it off the fucking stage. And I'm glad he tried to kill his own roadie because he was upset. I don't believe it was his roadie's fault, but fucking A, whatever. Lars went on like Jimmy Kimmel, and he's like, yeah, the first 20 minutes backstage, he said he hadn't seen Hetfield that upset in 20 years. Whatever, man. It's all for rock and roll. It's the fucking Grammys. Who gives a shit? Anyways, back to Hardwired for Self-Destruct. There's some good songs on here, and there's some songs that now they do tend to like kind of get into that Bleeding Me kind of feel a lot. Where the songs could have been like, and they're not. They're more like, just kind of midstream. And some of them are cool, and there's nothing on here that I can't listen to. I don't want to listen to Hardwired. I really don't. But at the same time, I can put on Hardwired and go, oh, I'm not going to go, oh my God. I'd still have to bash St. Anger. They were in pain, man. They were in pain. I know they were in pain, but it's still fucking garbage. We can all look back now and laugh, right? I mean, Metallica has totally disregarded that album and said, hey, St. Anger's fucking garbage. Right out of their mouth, so, move on. God, everybody decides to fucking text me right now. I'm trying to fucking record this. Hold on. Anyways, there's definitely some great songs on here. I like Man Unkind is definitely feeling their inner Sabbath because it sounds very Sabbathy. Am I Savage is cool, and of course the last song on the album is always got to be this, and it's Spit Out the Bone, and it's a churning metal, beat you down kind of song. Some of the songs, like Dream No More. Dream No More has Cthulhu in it. So they go back. We haven't talked about Cthulhu. Now, some people say Cthulhu, and some people say Cthulhu. I'm not sure how it's really technically supposed to be pronounced, but there's an H.P. Lovecraft story called Call of Cthulhu. That's what I call it. And of course, Metallica has touched on it a couple of times. They didn't talk about it. There was an instrumental on Ride the Lightning called Cthulhu, and they actually spelled it K-T-U-L-U. And then, of course, on Master Puppets, they have the thing that should not be. Messenger of fear and sight. Dark deception kills the light. Right? And now, all these years later, it's been 20 years, right? 20 years? 30 years. It's been 30 years since Master of Puppets, and we come out with Dream No More. Cthulhu Awakens! So that's kind of cool. Even though, I've read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, and there's a lot of cool H.P. Lovecraft stories, and, so James, move on, dude. If you want to borrow, an H.P. Lovecraft book, Pickman's Model, Rat in the Walls, In the Vault, dude, there's, the Dunwich Horror, there's a lot of good H.P. Lovecraft stories, so, you're kind of honing in on just one, but still, it's fucking metal. And then, there's songs on here that they're cool. Murder One, I thought that would have been, way cooler than what it was. Am I Savage? That's a pretty cool song. Here Comes Revenge, it's a it's a 2-disc set, so it's there's a lot of music on there. Now the cool thing was on the the release, they put a 3rd disc out there and it had some cool stuff on it. Like I said, it had the the Rasputin music that they did at Rasputin Music on Record Store Day, which was April 16th. And they did some cool stuff. They did Helpless, Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, Ride the Lightning, Fade to Black, Jump in the Fire, From the Bell Tolls, Creep in Death, and Metal Militia. That's a nice little, set from back when they had record stores, and that kind of covers the music that they had when their music was in record stores. And then the very last song on it, they do Hardwired, which was at the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, brand new stadium for the Vikings. They played there on August 20th of last year, and they put that on there. I don't know why, but the other cool thing though is they do Lords of Summer, it's a cool song. They do the Ronnie Rising medley, which was on the This Is Your Life Ronnie James Dio album. And that's pretty cool because they have like a Light in the Black and Terror Woman and Stargazer. And it's kind of cool to hear James sing some Ronnie Dio. They have When a Blind Man Cries. I don't know why, because even on Garage Inc., they put on that song called Tuesday's Gone, where they have like a bunch of dudes in there, like John Popper from like Blues Traveler and stuff, and that fucking song was boring as fuck. I'm putting it out there. They kind of do the same thing here with When a Blind Man Cries. This song is like whatever. And then they do Remember Tomorrow. And if those of you who are metal, what album was that on? Anybody? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was on Killers by Iron Maiden. And that was Paul Di'Anno singing on that, right? And that's pretty cool because I've actually heard them cover that like a long time ago, but it was kind of like the concert version. It was kind of like a bootleg, so it wasn't. And this time they actually like went in and actually recorded it in the studio. So that's pretty cool. But that's Hardwired to Self-Destruct, and it's pretty cool, man. It's a step in the right direction. Is it the greatest Metallica album of all time? Is it Bringing the Blood of a Newborn Child? Yeah! No. But it's a huge step in the right direction, and I listen to it, and it warms my heart to actually be able to listen to a Metallica album that, one, the drums don't sound like fucking garbage, and two, it sounds a lot better. It's not perfect because here we are, and it's 2016 when the album came out, but it's 2017 now. We get what we get, and I like it. It sounded pretty cool. Like I said, Hardwired, whatever. We're so fucked, a shit out of luck. Hardwired to self-destruct. The funny thing about this album is, if you're a Metallica fan, and you listen to this, you're going to hear a lot of the boys copying themselves, which is cool because they're Metallica, so they can copy themselves. But there's some songs on here where you'll be like, I think it's Now That We're Dead, right? I think it's Now That We're Dead. It's basically Enter Sandman. You're just like, it even has the same drums. You're just like, but here and there throughout the course of it, it's like the album's like 80 something minutes long or something. It's fucking long. You're gonna hear a lot of Metallica riffs that are kind of familiar. So hey, play what you know. That's about all I got for Metallica right now. I know they're going on a big tour and they got like a couple of dates coming up. Like, not until, I think they play here in August. They're playing Petco Park in August. That's cool, man. Not super excited about that show. I know Avenged Sevenfold's playing with them and somebody else. I don't fucking remember who it is, but whatever. I know, like, some of my friends are like, oh my god, I gotta get tickets, like, right now. And it's like, dude, it's fucking March. You know? Fucking concerts in August. Like, chill the fuck out, you know? That's that mentality. I gotta have it right fucking now. I gotta have it in my... Oh, if I don't get it on the day it fucking comes out, I'm gonna fucking die. Calm the fuck down, people. You'll be fine, dude. People will be dumping tickets the fucking week before the concert, and you'll actually probably get good seats for a decent price. They're fucking expensive, dude, because, you know, it's not cheap to go to fucking concerts anymore. They're playing at Petco Park. You know, it's a giant fucking stadium. It's where the Padres play. I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of stadium shows. I really am not. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I was just like, I saw Metallica at fucking Qualcomm Stadium, and it was like, dude, you know, I saw him in Mars Rock too. I don't know, you know, I'm just not a big fan of stadiums. Stadiums to me is like, let's get as many fucking people as we can and jam them into this fucking thing and make a ton of fucking money. I was looking at some of the concert dates, and they were saying like they made like $4 million a show from the ticket sales on like some of these fucking concerts. You're like, holy shit, $4 million to play a show. Pretty good. Pretty good take. I'm sure it costs some money to, you know, throw that stage show together and shit. But it'd also be cool to see him fucking playing in the parking lot of Rasputin fucking Records in Berkeley, California, you know. You know, so either way, who knows? We'll see. Now, I know everybody's going, dude, did you forget to mention Lulu? No, I did not. But I'll fucking mention it. In 2011, Metallica mystified the fucking world. Now, this is another reason why I wasn't that excited about Hardwired, because in 2011, Metallica came out with an album called Lulu, and it's with Lou Reed. Much to the dismay of pretty much probably every other fucking person on the planet that wasn't Lou Reed. And I've said it before on my show, but I'll say it again. You know, Lars made the comment. People asked him, like, dude, why the fuck did you do an album with Lou Reed? And he said, when Lou Reed calls you to do an album, you do it. Okay. Beating that dead horse. I have the Lulus Lulu, which is like basically they went through and stripped every fiber of fucking Lou Reed from the album and just put out like basically what Metallica had done. I'm fucking speechless because I don't even know what to say about Lulu. It's still, no one understands it. Maybe Lou Reed does. But, you know, like I said, I'm not a big Lou Reed fan. I think Lou Reed's a fucking douchebag. I don't fucking, you know, everybody's like, ooh, Lou Reed, you know, he's in Velvet Underground. He's so amazing. He had, like, what, Satellite of Love or whatever the fuck. I fucking love Lou Reed in with, like, Iggy Pop and shit like that. It's like, I'm sure it was a cool spectacle at some point, but I have no fucking, one, I didn't learn anything from it, and two, like, maybe Iggy with the Stooges was cool, but, like, I just, Lou Reed just mystifies me because, like, I think the guy's a fucking talentless piece of shit. I don't. Name a fucking Lou Reed album that blew your fucking mind. Is that fucking crickets? I hear fucking crickets. I'm sure there's, you know, I know there's people out there that are like, oh, dude, Lou Reed is fucking Lou Reed. He's so awesome. I love Lou Reed. Get fucking serious fucking mental health. There's fucking programs out there and shit. Fucking drugs and stuff that they'll give you to erase that irrational fucking love of Lou Reed, I hope. If not, there's shock treatment. You shock that shit the fuck out of you, because I don't understand it, because I don't find anything fascinating about Lou Reed. I've listened to Lou Reed, and I'm just like, you know, Lou Reed's one of those people, like, you put it on, and you heard all the bullshit. You know, you hear all these art fucking dumb fucks that think, like, ooh, Lou Reed's so mystical. He's so amazing. I get that a lot with Bowie. I'm a huge Bowie fan. Really haven't talked about Bowie, but, like, and there's a lost episode. There's actually 2 lost episodes of that Matt's Metal Show. That Metal Show. Like, I'm getting a little... No, Matt's Metal Show. There's 2 lost episodes. One, I cover the death of David Bowie, and the other one, I cover the death of Lemmy. Those kind of got lost in the mix at some point. I'll put them out eventually. That's only been like 5 fucking years. Maybe on the 5th anniversary of their deaths, I'll put those out. You know, they were really close together, but I did 2 separate shows. I did a lot of reviews, and this is where I'm going with this with Lou Reed, is I did a lot of reviews for David Bowie, because I fucking love Bowie. I fucking love fucking Bowie. But I remember there was one point, and I do a lot of reviews on like Amazon and stuff, because I'm honest. Dude, I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and I don't really give a fuck. It's my opinion, just like everybody's fucking opinion. There's no written rule on what is good and what is bad. It's basically your taste. But I remember I wrote a review because I fucking love, like, well, obviously Ziggy is amazing, and I love fucking Man Who Sold the World, and I love fucking Diamond Dogs, and, you know, and then Bowie started evolving, and I fucking, like, Station to Station, I remember that came out, and Station to Station's fucking garbage. To me, it's fucking garbage. There's 2 good songs on there. There's Golden Years and there's fucking Station to Station. The rest of that shit, like, it's got like 5 fucking songs on it. But I remember I wrote a review on Amazon, and this guy, like, told me I had no fucking idea what I was talking about, that it was fucking genius. I fucking listened to the album. I'm fucking interpreting what I feel, and that fucking album was that album was David Bowie fucking masturbating in boredom. He was fucking making fun of us, you know, as you know, you got the impression like David Bowie didn't really give a fuck about what his fans thought about his music. He just fucking put out whatever the fuck he wanted, and sometimes it fucking worked, and sometimes it didn't. But I remember this asshole sitting there telling me how, like, wrong I was about Station to Station. And I retorted, like, dude, have you ever listened to Hunky Dory? Have you ever listened to Ziggy? You ever listened to fucking, like, are you fucking serious, dude? You think Station to Station's like the fucking shit, fucking god, fucking metal of all fucking David Bowie albums? Fuck you. I'm a David Bowie fan, and I'll tell you straight up, fuck you. You're an idiot. Who the fuck picks Station to Station as the best fucking David Bowie album? Oh, dude, it's fucking genius. No, it's not. It's not fucking genius. And don't tell me how to review a fucking album, because I know what I like and what I don't like. And that album was fucking garbage. In my opinion, that album was fucking garbage. It's not fucking Hunky Dory. It's not fucking Space Oddity. It's not fucking, you know, fucking, definitely not Ziggy. It's not fucking Man Who Sold the World. I mean, there was a chunk of David Bowie albums that right at one after another. Now, even Hunky Dory had some shit on it, you know, 8-line poem. But Andy Warhol's fucking awesome! Andy Warhol looks to scream, hang him on my wall. Andy Warhol still the scream, can't tell them apart at all. Anyways, same with Lou Reed. I listened to Lou Reed and I said, maybe there's something I'm missing. No, there's not. I listened to it and I was like, it was like listening to Station. I found I mean, with the exception of like Golden Years, which is not my favorite fucking David Bowie song. I mean, and fucking station to station, the 11-minute long fucking station to station, I found it shit. And the same with fucking Lou Reed. I fucking listened to Lou Reed and I was like, am I fucking missing something here? Apparently I am, because I felt no emotional fucking connection to anything that fucking Lou Reed, even and the black girl sang, do 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 do. That's about as cool as Lou Reed ever got to be. The rest of it is all fucking garbage to me. To me, it's fucking garbage. So when Metallica decided to link up, it was mystifying, because you're like, was Metallica like looking through their phone book and they're like, who's the most obscure fucking dude that we could fucking hook up and do an album with that will just make no fucking sense? Who? Salvador Dali's dead. Tiny Tim is dead. Fuck, Lou Reed's still alive. Yeah. Anyways, Lulu. I don't even know what to say about Lulu. It's fucking garbage. Fuck, listen to it. You'll be as fucking stumped as I am. Now, I listen to the Lulus Lulu, and like, it's cool, but like, you can't, because I actually now I listened by mistake, because we always regret some things. Some things are better just left unheard. You know, like Spinal Tap is a bizarre gardening accident that was, the authorities said, was best left unsolved. That was the same with Lulu. It was best left unheard. But I made the mistake because I was curious. I go, well, let's pop this motherfucker in and see what's going on. And I did, and you can't unhear some shit. There's not a fucking good fucking thing about that fucking album. I'm sorry. It makes this look inspired. That's a bull fucking statement, dude. It makes fucking what was that shitty Motley Crue album? The fucking worst fucking album. Generation Swine. It makes Generation Swine look like fucking Meatloaf. Fucking bad out of hell. That's how shitty fucking Lulu was. Are you getting the comparison here? I don't know if I'm coming across that. I have fucking utter disdain for fucking Lou Reed, and fuck, I don't know. I think Metallica was fucking bored. They must have been, because there's no other explanation. And there's a bunch of pictures of them all, standing around Lou Reed like he's some fucking pillar of fucking rock and roll history. Fuck Lou Reed. I'll say it. You know what? Fuck Glenn Danzig, because he's a douche. And he's the same. In my opinion, Glenn Danzig is the same as Lou Reed. They're both like fucking so minimally talented that their fucking popularity defies fucking logic. Defies logic. And I know there's a bunch of Danzig fans out there, and I know there's a bunch of Lou Reed fans out there, and there's a shitload of Metallica fans out there, but bottom line is, for me, personally, on a personal level, because music's fucking subjective and it's fucking personal, fucking Lou Reed can fucking eat a full bag of shit. Not a half bag, not a quarter bag, but a fucking full bag of shit. Lou Reed can eat it. Fuck Lulu. Lulu is... I don't even understand Lulu. I don't want to understand Lulu. Lulu can fucking just disappear off the face of the planet. We can all act like we never fucking heard it. Some of us didn't hear it because I think it sold, even with Metallica on it, I think it sold like 8 copies. And I think 5 of those were like promo copies that they handed out at like some backyard barbecue in like fucking Syracuse, New York or something like that. Why'd you say Syracuse, Matt? I don't fucking know. It just came off the top of my head. Yeah, Syracuse! Oh. Anyways, that's my part 2 of Metallica. I know I probably skipped over some shit, but hey, that's what I do, man. I don't think I babbled as much as I did on that first part. I know I was rewatching it and just kind of throwing in some stuff, and I was like, Jesus, I was like all over the fucking place, like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this album, and I'm gonna talk about this, and then I don't know, and where's Master Puppets, and then there's Ride the Lightning, and I was like, oh my god, Ride the Lightning is fucking awesome. Master of Puppets is fucking awesome. You know, Metallica's fucking awesome. The one thing that we did learn from, you know, and I guess they got shit for some kind of monster. The one thing that I kind of took away from it all the years later after I was no longer angry with them was that they're fucking just human beings, dude. You know, and a lot of people put them in rock god status, and they kind of got shit from some of the bands that said, hey, man, like, you're not supposed to, you know, pull down the veil. You're not supposed to show the inner workings of the band. You know, you're playing around with like, you know, the mystique. But then they also got some bands that were like, dude, I'm glad you did that because, you know, I have problems too. And like, dude, people are people. You could be fucking the guys in Slayer and act like you're fucking just the coolest motherfuckers and you don't give a shit about nothing. You're fucking just, yeah, fuck yeah, motherfucker. Like Phil Anselmo or something, you know, you can just, or you could be like a fucking regular person and not be a fucking complete fucking douchebag your whole life. You know, you could be Phil Anselmo. I fucking hate that guy. Sorry, I fucking hate that guy. It's another one, this fucking asshole. You could be like that, where you have no morals and nothing, you know, because that's the thing is like being a rock star was like, for some strange reason, like when you're a rock star, everybody thinks of like Motley Crue, where you just take your morals and throw them right the fuck out the door, and you just do a bunch of fucking drugs, a bunch of chicks, and you just fucking just do whatever the fuck you want and get arrested, kill people, and fucking that shit's not cool, man. You know, look at fucking Vince Neil. Look at the sloppy. I'm gonna fucking bash Vince Neil right now. Fuck yeah. Look at Vince Neil, man. How old is he? He's a big, fat, sloppy piece of shit that can't sing for shit. And he's a fucking douchebag. And he fucking killed somebody. And he got paid his way out of fucking jail. And he's fucking a miserable piece of shit. And oh yeah, dude, rock and roll. I'm gonna go fucking party at my fucking restaurant and make my tequila and shit. But bottom line is like, dude, look at you. You're a fucking train wreck, dude. I don't feel bad for you. I think you're a fucking joke, dude. Because that's your fucking life. You want to walk around with fucking plasticized fucking... I mean, you seen that dude's wife or ex, I don't know. He's been married like 100. Why does Vince Neil even get married? You see the fucking chicks like he fucking dates? You're just like... It's just like a fucking Barbie doll that's been fucking voodoo-tized and fucking... Voodoo-tized, that was a good word. And fucking created to life. And, you know, you're just like... The last chick, I remember he was going out and she was just all like, hi. She had big fake tits and her fucking face was like all fucking scary because she was still having so much fucking plastic surgery and you're just like, and Vince is drunk. You don't give a fuck. He's all, yeah, he's all fat. Oh, look at my baby. She's so hot. She's fucking 19. That is what happens when you're a rock star and then you just give up. Oh, it's good Mountain Dew. You don't give a fuck about your craft at all. You know, you don't care about your fans. You don't give a fuck. You're just like, Ugh. I'm gonna sing every third word and be drunk. All these other guys, Mick's up here, you know, he's got this fucking disease, fucking dying, and Mick's up there playing, he can fucking play. I'm back on Motley Crue. The fucking circle turns. You got big fat ass Vince Neil up there all bloated and he's out of breath. And he's like, girls at the in girls yeah. I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Ooh, I'm out of breath. Ooh, these fucking lights are fucking hot. Take a ride on the side. Fuck you, Vince. I bought your albums. You owe me a final show again. Fucking piece of shit. Anyways, thank you for sitting in on part 2 of my Metallica special. I covered most of the shit. I know they played fucking Antarctica, and dude, come on, man. That's some Death Clock shit right there, dude. When they went and played fucking Antarctica, dude. That fucking says Metallica right there. You know, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, hopefully that's... Who fucking knows, dude? Who even knows when we'll get another fucking Metallica album, another 5 to 8 years, you know, by that time, who fucking knows? You know, Lars has got that big fucking, you know, fucking Ernest Hemingway fucking beard going on, you know. It's all white, you know, they're not getting any younger, so, and neither are we, so, embrace it, you know, at least they fucking made an effort, and there's some good fucking stuff on there, so, hopefully they keep going in the right direction, and I'll fucking weigh my options. I don't know if I want to go see them or not, but, you know, I've seen them like 6 fucking times, you know, and they're not getting any, I don't know, are they getting any better? Is their show getting any better? You know, they're adding songs. Who knows? They might sing All Nightmare Long! Anyways, thanks for tuning in, all 3 of you, you know. But, yeah, Matt's Metal Show. Everybody, stay metal! And remember, I'm bringing the blood of a newborn child. Yeah!